Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the Gamerpreneur podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Bradford Carlton. Today, I have a very special guest with us. I have a Mr. Gareth Phillips. Hey there, Gareth.
Hey, Bradford.
How are you doing today, Gareth? Where are you at?
Yeah, not too bad. I'm in the UK, so I'm in London, where it's currently almost 0 degrees and it's absolutely freezing. So.
Well, that sounds horrendous. It's currently, what do you do, Fahrenheit? So it's like 24 degrees Celsius here in Las Vegas at the moment.
Not too bad. I know where I prefer to be.
Yes, sure. So Gareth, why don't you go ahead and just begin by telling us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll kind of move from there.
So my name's Gareth. I'm a co-founder and CEO of BettrPlay, which is actually how we found each other on LinkedIn. Being fellow gamers. So BettrPlay is a site where gamers can play for real money on games like FIFA, Fortnite, Call of Duty, and more across the PlayStation, Xbox, and PC.
Fantastic. Was there more you wanted to share?
No.
All right. Okay, we'll unpack that in just a second then. But before we really get into it, I always ask like one question, get some laughs going, kind of get some levity into this discussion. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being high, how weird are you, Gareth?
So I'm going to go for a 6. This is a good question. I like this.
All right. Why would you say 6?
So I've got my quirks, but my wife calls me an in-betweener, right? So in the UK, this means that you're not quite cool and normal, but you're not quite a total weirdo either. So I'm kind of bang in the middle of everything, really. Middle of the road guy.
Sure. One of my favorite clients is actually originally from the UK, and he would say you'd be an 8 on the scale if you just smiled during the day. So, take that for what you will. All right, Gareth, this is the Gamerpreneur. So I want to know your gaming cred before we really get into the business side of it. Tell me, how did you first start playing video games?
Yeah, so me and my brother used to play the original NES, as it was. So I think that's Nintendo Entertainment System, right?
Yep.
So that was the first real console, and we used to spend hours playing that. Kind of Duck Shoot was the original game where you had the actual plastic gun and used to track the ducks across the screen and shoot them. Great game, classic.
It made the most wonderful cling sound when you shot it too. Yeah,
right. I think I've still got it. I think we've still got it at home in the loft somewhere. So I don't know if it's going to be worth something, maybe in a few years when, because it's the original, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, we also, so my neighbor and best friend also had a Commodore 64 with Street Fighter 2. So we used to spend like hours playing that as well. So it's always been a thing of mine, like ever since I was young. Gaming was always like a big part of my life with my friends. And then from there, it kind of evolved into university where we were playing FIFA with my mates for money, obviously outside of a website. And that's really where I got like the idea for BettrPlay. But I've only recently had the kind of time and money to actually execute on the idea. But that's how kind of gaming was brought to me, because it's just an integral part of my life since I was a kid, really.
Fantastic. So you play primarily competitive games, use like FIFA shooters?
Yeah, I mean, so what have I played? So obviously Street Fighter was back in the day, but then from there, Command and Conquer, Red Alert was a big thing for me. Spent hours playing that, me and my mates. Then we moved on to Medal of Honor, Allied Assault, which is a little bit later, actually, I guess. But that was in the early noughties, and I spent probably years of my life locked away playing that game. Right? I mean,
right.
I was going to come on to this later, but basically we used to write scripts for it, like war hacks and aimbots and stuff, just for a laugh. And we had our own little clan, like me and my mates back home, which was really sad. We had a little gamer tag that we put on the end of our names and pretend that we were a clan, even though we weren't competitive or playing in any competitions or anything like that. So yeah, and then from there it was really like Call of Duty, FIFA, really the classics were kind of my generation. And I guess being 34 now, like I kind of almost missed the Fortnite boat. And I think if I hadn't done BettrPlay, I probably wouldn't have got into battle royale style games, because I'd have just stuck with FIFA and Fortnite, which is what I know and love. But because I've been doing the BettrPlay thing, I've had to kind of get my head around the new games that are coming on the scene, like Fortnite. And I've really actually found I've really got into games like Fortnite and Apex Legends and PUBG. And I'm naturally good at them anyway, because I'm pretty good at like first person shooters. I've been playing shooter games, since day dot. So I'm pretty good at those sorts of games anyway.
Wonderful. So fantastic. It's a great history. And you're never too old for a new video game. I've had guests on here in their 50s and 60s who are just picked up Fortnite and are competitive in it. So you don't have to be 12 or 13.
Are they doing well?
I did not ask that. They just told me they play.
Right.
All right. Okay.
Amazing.
Got one more gaming question that I want to dig into BettrPlay. So what's your favorite video game of all time? If you were on a desert island with one video game and an electrical socket, what would it be?
Okay, I'm gonna go The Last of Us.
Last of Us.
The Last of Us, yeah. Because
the cinematic story. What about it?
Yeah, it's the story. I mean, it's in terms of like my favorite game of all time. That is my favorite single player. In terms of like multiplayer, in terms of like favorite, it was probably Medal of Honor, Allied Assault, because we just the years that I dedicated to that game. But if I had to choose one, I'd probably take Last of Us.
Okay, fantastic. So you currently are starting up, or you're running BettrPlay at the moment, and
yep.
What led you here? What's your professional background that got you into developing this website?
I've been in advertising for the last 10 years or so. So that's where I started my career. Basically, I started a business in that sector. In which I had shareholding, and I was able to sell my shares in that. So that gave me enough to really go away, and I really want to try my own ventures. I had a number of ideas, and I just thought I'd had BettrPlay for years, and I thought, if I don't do it, somebody else is going to do it over here. And that really kind of drove me to do it. And now I've got the time and money to actually execute it. So that's where I've come from is advertising.
Okay, fantastic. So can you break down BettrPlay for us? Exactly how does it work? What's the platform? What makes it different?
So basically it's a website. So it's where you can meet other gamers to play for money. So currently we offer head-to-head. So you might want to play a game of FIFA. You may want to back yourself for £5 against another player at your level. So basically, the idea is to have lots of players on there of varying levels, to have the levels put on the match card so that people know exactly what your level is. So you can find people at your level to play against. You then basically put in your £5. The other player puts in their £5. There's a prize pot. The winner then takes that prize pot. So in the case where it's £5, it'd be £10, and we take a 10% fee of your winnings. So we only win when the player wins. But what I'm really excited about is we've also just launched solo challenges. So solo challenges are where we actually tap into an API and pull your results in real time from Fortnite. So basically now you can back yourself to win a game of solo Fortnite Battle Royale. If you put in £1, you might be able to get £10 out if you win the Battle Royale. So that's really exciting because that's something that nobody else is currently offering in the market that we're aware of. So we're kind of slowly introducing it to our players and seeing how it goes.
Fantastic. That's really cool. So if I decided to take up Fortnite, I could just be making a bunch of money on your site, assuming that I'm any good.
Well, that's it. Yeah. So basically what we do is we look at your history. So if you're a good player, you would win less on a win. So if you put in £1, we might only give you, say, £3 back. But if you're an average player, you probably get up to 10 times your entry.
Got it. So there's a handicap.
Basically, yeah.
Wonderful. Okay. So how does your professional background helping BettrPlay? So you were in advertising, you said. And how are you using those skills in this business?
Well, obviously to attract players. So, digital marketing is what I've been doing for the last 10 years. So I basically used a lot of the strategies that I was using on my clients to actually get players for the business. It's been an interesting journey as well, because I wasn't really on the content side, which is basically what we're doing now, right? This is not my natural forte. My forte is the paid media side. So I would buy advertising space on Google or Facebook. But we've really had to get our heads around the content side of things, because it's really important in gaming. It's important for gamers, they want to see gaming content. That's what gets them engaged, and that's what gets them coming back and forming a community around your brand. So that's really what we're focusing on now, is trying to, how do we actually do that? How do we get content that gamers want to engage with on the site, that's maybe slightly outside of our core offering, but is an added bonus for them. So it's entertainment that keeps them coming back.
Okay, so what exactly kind of content are you making? How are you going about it?
Well, this is what we're trying to address right now. So, our core focus really has been getting the site up and running. So we've finally got the site relaunched, and we've got, I think we've got 1,500 players signed up now. We've got, I say, up to 100 of those are actually actively engaging with the site. So really, we need to get that number up. And that's really what it's about now, is how do we do that? And then, it's probably about content. So really how we see ourselves doing it is obviously like streaming, getting players to kind of clip some of their best play and sending it in for a competition, for example. So there's going to be a few things that we're going to be doing to try and engage players a little bit more around content.
Okay, wonderful. So my goal is always to get as much information as I possibly can to my viewers, because I really want them to understand sales, marketing, business, just the basic stuff that we're not normally taught. Like, your background is in marketing and advertising. Most people have no idea how it works. So, how did you get those 1,000 people to sign up with you? What was it you did? Did you have an email list, or did you just start promoting or paying for it?
Yeah, so we just started paying for it. That's how we got it out originally. So obviously, like I say, my background was paid advertising, so that was my natural inclination to do. And then we're slowly, like I say, working on the content and working on the SEO and all the stuff that will get us the natural organic traffic.
Sure. Which paid platform do you use?
So we use all of them. So it's big ones. So Google Ads, Facebook. Those are the only two at the moment, actually. But that obviously gets us massive reach, because you're across Instagram, Facebook, affiliated sites of those networks, YouTube, Google search, and their Google display network. So, the reach is just massive. You only really probably need those two platforms if your spend is under £5,000 a month,
Okay. Are you spending a lot of money on ads?
Not massive, no. So because we've just relaunched the product and we're constantly improving it, basically we want to kind of scale our spend as we improve the product and as we can see what we're doing is resonating with players. So we don't want to go and splurge, 50 grand and then, not have the players engage. So we're kind of scaling what we're doing in line with hopefully player engagement and improved product.
Okay, fantastic. What would you say the best resources someone could use in order to learn how to use those different advertising platforms is? I mean, other than Google or YouTube, where can people look for kind of higher level information?
That's a difficult one, actually, because they deliberately, and this is the reason they're so successful, is probably because they're so good at keeping you wrapped up in their walled garden, right? So in fact, there's very limited resources for you to learn a Google or Facebook, the Google or Facebook ad platforms outside of the materials that they publish themselves. But also, if a third party was to go and do that, then obviously it could be out of date within months because they're constantly changing it. So, the best resource is actually their resource themselves, which is easily searchable online. It's going to take a lot of your time to kind of get your head around everything. Sure. Potentially up to a year to learn kind of all the Google Ads platforms, probably just the basics, and then even more for Facebook.
So you're preaching to the choir on that one. I actually did write a Facebook ads book that I had to update every 3 months, and I did that for 2 years. And I'm done with this. This is a pain. But no, Facebook Blueprint, their training platform is fantastic.
Right. Yeah. I've not used it because I'm so old school that I learned back in the day when they had Power Editor and all of that sort of stuff. So I'm fairly comfortable, and I can get on with it fine. I don't need to redo all the exams that I did earlier in my career,
Okay. So what's the plan for the next 6 months, a year for BettrPlay?
So the plan is obviously to scale as fast as possible, really. Saying that, obviously we have to make sure we've got the engagement first. We want to really build a core community that we can plug other players into. So I think we're starting to kind of find that now. We're getting some traction with some players who are coming back to the site, which is great. And then it's really about keeping those guys engaged, seeing what they want, making sure that they're getting that, and then scaling up the marketing efforts so that they've got other people to play and a bigger pool. Because if they're all just playing, say, if you're playing the same 50 guys, you're going to know who's better and who's not pretty quickly anyway. So really, we need to keep growing to keep players on and interested.
Okay. Now, how long have you been doing this?
Just over a year, about a year and a half.
Okay. So if you could go back a year and a half or so, you can go talk to little Gareth. You say, little Gareth, I got some advice for you. In order to make this whole thing go just 10 times faster, 10 times bigger, stronger, more money, what would you say?
Probably don't do V1 of the site the way that you did it. So the way that we worked it was when I first started the business, I actually did all the coding, and I'm not the best all-round coder. So I think what I should have done is maybe wait for my co-founder to come on board before I'd actually released V1 of the site, and that would have stopped having to kind of redo. Because what we did was I worked on the site. I built the site to it worked enough that I could actually release it and start spending money on advertising. We brought in almost 1,000 players at that point onto a site that really wasn't set up to take that many people, and it was quite glitchy. Obviously, then I brought on my CTO and co-founder, who's really, really helped just making sure that the code is in place and proper. So I would say wait to bring somebody like that on board with the skills necessary to deliver the product before you actually go and push it. But obviously I was so eager at the time to get something out, that I really wanted to push it forward.
Now, is that actually necessarily a problem? Because by doing it yourself, by putting it out there, you got to see all these different issues that you may not have been able to see yourself and not have had the experience and know kind of what the issues are down the line.
Yeah, definitely. I think I learned a lot. But I think it probably set us back a bit as well. So, if we'd have launched with what is now V2, 6 to 8 months ago, I think we'd have seen a lot more success by now. We're doing all sorts of things like talking to investors, as we're talking to accelerators, all of these people, and they want to see traction. So we're still, like you say, what's the next 6 months? Well, it's really about finding that traction, because that's what investors and accelerators will want to see from us. And we could have done that 6 months ago, had I focused more on finding a co-founder rather than just letting it happen.
Fantastic. All right. So do you have any advice for somebody else? Maybe they're considering starting up their own business. Maybe they've had this passion or idea kicking around in their head for years. What would you tell those people?
Yeah. I mean, you just got to go out and try it, right? You've just got to try. I would say, by nature, I'm an optimist. So I have an idea and I've got a million of them, and I've always known I wanted to be an entrepreneur. It's just what I was going to do. And it's turned out to be this, which is great because it's a passion of mine. But you never know until you actually start out and start doing something. So like I said, I'm an optimist, and I always think I can do this, I can do that. It's going to be great. It's going to be this within a year. It's probably not. There's probably going to be a lot more obstacles. But you never know until you start. So you just got to go out and just try things and see what works.
Fantastic. All right, let's talk about you for a second. This isn't your first business, is it?
No. So obviously I had the advertising business previously. And then I had another startup before this, which was in the delivery space.
Okay. And how did those businesses go for you?
First one, well, that's how I'm able to afford to kind of be focusing on this. And then the next one, not so well. So that was my first real venture outside of after I kind of sold my shares. It took me kind of a year and a half to realize that the business idea wasn't going to work.
Fantastic. So how do people get in touch with you, Gareth? Where do they find you at? What's your social media and your handles?
So you can find our website on www.betterplay.com. That's better without the E. Please come along, try. You can play for free. You can also join our Discord from there. To find us on the socials, a simple search for BettrPlay, again without the E, should bring us up. And you can give us a follow and drop us a like, and we'd much appreciate it.
Anything else you think we need to cover before we wrap up? Anything I didn't ask you think we need to talk about?
No, there's nothing else I really want to talk about, mate. I think you've been very thorough, so thank you for that. I have to say, as this is my first podcast, though, it's great talking about yourself for 20 minutes. I think my ego has been sufficiently inflated.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Gareth. We really do appreciate this. Everybody, please check out BettrPlay. It's BettrPlay. And, Gareth Phillips, thank you again.
Thanks for having me, and I love what you're doing with the podcast and videos. Keep smashing it, and if it blows up, maybe I can come back on when you're famous.
All right, Gamerpreneurs, you all take it easy. Hey, if you like this podcast, I'd love to invite you to check out a little bit more about me, Dr. Bradford Carlton, Gamerpreneur. If you go to my website, www.thegamerpreneur.com/bonus, I'm going to give you a free copy of my book, The Warcraft of Business, where I explain my history in both gaming and business and how I brought the two together in order to create some very successful companies and help a lot of people. And all you got to do is pay for shipping and processing, and I'll send you this book. I absolutely know you're going to love it. All right, you all take it easy.